Hello, and welcome back to another podcast episode of Yeti Bee Reviews, where today I'll be talking about the Virgo New Moon, which takes place on September the 16th or 17th, depending where on the planet you're located, and it's going to be exact at 25 degrees of Virgo. So, the first thing I want to talk about is what is a new moon. So we know that the moon has lots of different phases as it goes from full to getting much smaller, and which we call waning. And then it does the full round, it gets bigger again, which we call waxing. And it gets to the point where it's considered to be new. So, what this means is when you've got a new moon, it's a really good time to set some new intentions in your life. So as the name would indicate, it's a new restarting of the moon. When you look up at the night sky during a new moon, you're unlikely to see it because it's sort of invisible. It's sort of like being reborn. So that's a great time for you to start new projects. Now, to be exact, what types of projects or relationships or intentions are going to be best depends where exactly in your chart the Virgo new moon falls. So, for example, if you go to any search engine, go to Google, type in birth chart calculator, pull up your birth chart. You'll need to know your place, date, and time of birth. If you don't know the time, just use 12 noon, although it will be more precise if you have the exact time. And look and see where 25 degrees of Virgo falls on your chart. Check what house it is, and whatever house that falls in, that's the area of your chart that the new moon is activating, so to speak. So that's going to be your ideal area of life. So it could be like to do with your home, your loved ones, family, friends. It could be the house of money, wealth, prosperity. So, whatever house that falls into, that's the ideal place or area of your life where you want to set new intentions for. So, and as per always, it does always work best if you've been putting some work into that area already. I mean, it's not like a magic spell where you can, not do any work and then one day just kind of wish upon a star. um, the universe doesn't quite work that way. You have to, really put in the work and whatnot, especially with Virgo, and I'll explain that in a little more detail in a minute. But that's definitely the area where you want to set your new intentions. So, what does Virgo represent? Virgo is an earth sign. So, Virgo is the sign of hard work, um, actual physical work, working towards your goals. It's a groundedness, it's an earthiness. Although Virgo is mutable, it's not a fixed sign as you might think with an earth sign. Um, Virgo is among the more flexible earth signs. So you do have some flexibility to work with. But yeah, so Virgo is often represented by the Virgin. And the idea here is that it represents purity. So, purity of work, purity of thought, purity of intentions. Um, this is where you want your best intention to come forward. So, you want to leave behind any negativity. You want to leave behind anything where you're feeling stuck to something that might be holding you back, an old way of living, old thoughts, old patterns. You want to really try and let these things go because it's through that groundedness that you're really going to see success and change in your life. So, that's something that you want to think about. Virgo is a really hard-working sign, so you want to make sure that you pair your intentions with the actual physical or mental or emotional or spiritual work that it's going to take to actually accomplish those goals. So, one area that Virgo rules over is actually your daily routines. So, again, that's where that work comes in. So whether it comes down to, for example, um, your eating patterns, what you're eating, how much of it you're eating, what times you're eating it at, your sleep patterns, how much sleep you're getting. You don't want to get too much sleep and you don't want to get not enough because, again, Virgo is about being really centered, really grounded within what you're doing, and you want to really try to cut back from substances. So you want to make sure that you try and be as mentally and emotionally clear at this time. That's why I say substances can really bunger up, especially this time of year. Also, with the added fact that we're still in Virgo season. So, what that exactly means is that the sun is in Virgo, and now the new moon is in Virgo. So we've got something of a double whammy happening here with the sun and the moon in Virgo. So it's kind of a double Virgo effect. We're super Virgo influenced right now. And that's what makes this time and this new moon especially powerful, especially wanting us, calling us to really come into our groundedness. So, some ways that this kind of Virgoan energy can manifest itself in our lives is actually going, say, for example, clearing out our home. Um, that is something that is very Virgo centered. We're surprised how much clutter we accumulate, and they talk about spring cleaning, but there should also be Virgo season cleaning because it's really a time where it's good to get into all the closets, all those corners that we haven't looked in a long time, dust out the cobwebs. I know I've dusted about a handful or more in my own home. And if you're a little OCD or a lot OCD like me, it's really a fun time to go through things and look through things and just be like, oh my God, that thing that I completely forgot about, that I haven't used in 6 months to a year. And the fact that I didn't remember it tells me that I clearly don't need it. So again, it's getting rid of excess baggage, whatever form that comes in. So whether it's physical baggage, whether it's emotional baggage, whether it's old, outdated thought patterns that we know are no longer serving our greater purpose, this is an especially powerful time to really change that. The universe is really supporting us right now in making those changes. And if we stick to a routine, and it doesn't have to be anything major, it can be, if we know we've been hitting that snooze alarm a lot, it can be a matter of, maybe not hitting it, or maybe setting our clock half an hour ahead or an hour ahead. Give yourself that extra hour of sleep. If you're hitting the snooze button a bunch of times anyway, you probably need it. So just little things like that, and it's just being consistent with it. And that's where you should really see the results. If you're in the northern part of the world, which I am, it's definitely getting cooler now. Those fall and winter winds are starting to come in. We can certainly feel them. It's probably a good time to, get out and walk or maybe jog and, just kind of take care of our excess physical baggage. Literally, the excess baggage on our bodies, right? So it's just a matter of being in a place where you're feeling grounded and centered. It's not anything to do with other people's expectations. It's very much where you're feeling in a place that you're happy and just heart-based. One last thing I'd like to mention before I sign off is sort of the connection between this Virgo time and the new moon. So where Virgo is represented by the Virgin and the new moon represents a new birth. So we've sort of got like a virgin birth thing kind of happening here. And that's in no way from a religious or dogmatic viewpoint, just really more symbolic, where, again, if your intentions are pure, if your intentions are good, and you're putting in the hard work, like the labor pains, right? You will definitely see the fruits of those labors, so to speak. So I think I'll leave it there for today. And if you've enjoyed this podcast, please hit like and subscribe. And I wish you all a very happy new moon and the best of luck. Bye.